As the war in Ukraine enters its second month, Russia has still failed to take the largest Ukrainian cities and is now trying to divide Ukraine. Russia says its main focus is now taking control of the eastern Donbas region. The head of Ukrainian military intelligence says Russia wants to split Ukraine in two, similar to how East and West Germany were created after World War II. Ukrainian forces have retaken several villages around Kharkiv in the east and near Sumy in the north, threatening Russian army supply lines. Russian forces continued to pound the strategic port city of Mariupol, needed to link Russian gains in the east and south. Former CIA director and retired four-star General David Petraeus calls Mariupol the Ukrainian Alamo.
It's fighting to the last defender and pinning down multiple Russian battalions in so doing, very heroically. But ultimately, it looks as if it's going to have to collapse. It's going to be taken.
Meanwhile, in the western city of Lviv, Russia released this new video of missile strikes targeting fuel depots and defense infrastructure. Addressing his nation, Ukrainian President Zelensky accused the West of lacking the courage to take on Russian President Vladimir Putin, calling on NATO to give his country more tanks and planes. In Warsaw, Poland, Joe Biden delivered a speech in which he issued Vladimir Putin a blunt warning.
Don't even think about moving on one single inch of NATO territory. We have sacred obligation. We have a sacred obligation under Article 5 to defend each and every inch of NATO territory with the full force of our collective power.
Then Biden seemed to call for an end to Vladimir Putin's rule.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
Secretary of State Blinken quickly walked back Biden's words.
We do not have a strategy of regime change in Russia or anywhere else for that matter.
A Russian official told Reuters that's not for Biden to decide. The president of Russia is elected by Russians. In a new interview with independent Russian journalists, President Zelensky said Ukraine might be willing to become a neutral nation and agree to not join NATO. The interview was not shown inside Russia. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Our senior international correspondent, George Thomas, is with us now from the city of Ternopil in western Ukraine. So, George, how are Ukrainians reacting to Zelensky's proposal of possibly not joining NATO?
Well, I think the two most important things in that potential proposal is that, one, all Russian forces need to leave Ukrainian territory. And secondly, that the whole idea would be put to a vote, to a referendum here in the country. And in all likelihood, that's going to fail. And my sense is that the Ukrainian president is stalling for more time as he continues to get more weapons from the West.
George, you've been saying from the beginning of the war that Russia's goal has been to link up eastern parts of the country with Crimea. Can they achieve this goal still?
Well, as General Petraeus said, you know, the likelihood of Mariupol falling is very, very real. I mean, they're surrounded. The Ukrainians continue to fight very, very hard. But if that city does fall, and it looks like it might, maybe not today, tomorrow, but in the coming weeks, then Russia has, in essence, that land bridge that it has been fighting for the last 8 years, directly from the eastern part, the Donbas, the Luhansk area, straight to Crimea. It will save Russia billions of dollars each year to have that land bridge instead of going through the Sea of Azov.
You are not in Kyiv right now, so tell us about the city you're in and the mood there.
Yeah, this is the city of Ternopil, which is about 2 hours east of Lviv. It's typically home to about 200,000 people, but since the war began, thousands of refugees have been coming into this city, so many of them temporarily taking up shelter here. But it is sort of a way station. They come here, spend the night or two, and then they head to Lviv and then cross the border into Poland, Hungary, or Slovenia. But folks here have opened up their homes, their businesses, their restaurants, their schools, their churches to welcome these refugees from the other parts of the country.
All right, George Thomas reporting for us from Ternopil. Thank you so much. I want to remind you at home that if you are wanting to help, you can. You can help Operation Blessing's disaster relief efforts in this horrible war and humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. Simply call 1-800-700-7000. Let us know that you want to give to the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund. You can also write to us at CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23463. Simply note Disaster Relief Fund in the memo line of your check. You can text as well. Simply text OB Crisis to 71777. Of course, you can visit our website, cbn.com, as well as ob.org. Anything you're able to do is always greatly appreciated and needed.